Hey everybody, welcome back to Deep Space. My name is Ben. This is Deep Space. It's a space that we've created to talk about things that matter. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, so some of this stuff that I'm talking about is things that I'm talking about in my office regularly and things that I hope will be helpful. So today is one of those days where we're going to be talking about something that means a lot to me, that I hope will be helpful. I think that it can be, and I hope that you can hear it in a way that will be helpful because it's pretty important stuff. So today we are going to be talking about self-worth, the value that we attribute to ourselves, the way that we treat ourselves as a reflection of what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about ourselves often because of the way that we've been treated, the way that others value us, and the implications that has, and the truth about that, what you're actually worth. So let's jump into that. So self-worth is one of the most powerful themes that I run into in my own life, in my office, in my work with my clients. It's a really big deal. It has huge implications. If you've got beliefs about yourself that you're worthless, that you don't have value, that you're not worth loving, that you're not worth investing in or being with, that will change everything about the way that you treat yourself, about the way that you even treat others, and it will shape and form your relationship with everything. It changes everything. It's bedrock. It's at the center of ourselves. So, and I run into it a lot. I run into it in my office all the time. People that really struggle to accept that they have value, to just accept that they're lovable, they're worth something. So, experience often drives that. Experience of not being valued, experience of not being listened to, not being connected with emotionally, a lack of connections, a lack of competent response to emotional needs can create that for us. If we've got stuff going on and it's big and we share it with people and they're not competent in how they handle it and they respond like people often do, it can leave us with this nasty lack of value. So one of the things that I talk with people about to help with this are just words. I have some words that I tell people that I believe deeply. I hold them dearly to my heart. I believe them, but they are just words. So they don't typically fully offset experiences, but hopefully it's a start. So you're welcome to those words. So here's the deal. When you look at the human, when you look at each other, and when you look in the mirror, the first thing you got to see about us that's pretty remarkable and is something extremely valuable, even you could say miraculous, is our physical bodies, right? The intricacies and the miracle of things as simple as regenerating fingernails or our eyeballs or our respiratory system, the way that we can take in information from our senses. It's really miraculous. It's pretty amazing if you really stop and think about what all goes into the human body. It is far more miraculous and amazing than what we've been able to accomplish as humans in our creation. Like, you look at the intricacies of a work of art versus DNA, and there's no comparison, right? We have an absolutely amazing body. Every one of us. Our bodies are all different, and they have different degrees of functioning. They have different ways that they look. They have different. They measure up to conformity standards in different ways, and it doesn't matter. They're all miraculous, and they're all beautiful. You have a beautiful body. Think about your eyeballs for a second, right? You can take in, I am taking in my studio right here, more information at any given second, at any moment. You're taking in more information, color, depth, than the world's most powerful cameras can take it. No buffering, right? No like, oh man, that's a lot of information. Light changes, depth, shadows. It's just perfectly, seamlessly transmitted into my brain in a way that is just amazing, right? So you have this body that regenerates itself, it heals itself, it grows, you feed it, you take good care of it, and it takes good care of you. That's an amazing thing. We all have that. Then you think about what goes on inside of that body. That body is animated by an overlap between the embodied physical and our emotions. our feelings, the ability for our body to be animated by how we feel, and the emotional system, the psychological system, and how that engages. Think about this. It's crazy. You think about this miraculous body animated by these really complex emotional systems that connect then with memory and mind. You have a miraculous mind. Your mind is capable of so much more than anything else on the planet. Any other species in the natural kingdom, anything that we've been able to accomplish through our own technology. Our minds are amazing, and they have this intimate, beautiful relationship within our feelings, and our feelings then activate this body that is able to feel sensations and feel anxieties and fears and joy and love. It's amazing if you think about it, if you break it down. And then you animate that with this identity, this sense of self. That is even further embedded into ourselves. We have this body, which is animated by emotion and memory and our psyche, which is then connected to our identity, our mind, and then our identity, who brings it all together in this cohesive sense of wholeness that takes all of this interplay between the physical and the emotional and the mental and the psychological, and it brings it all together in this self that grows in your prefrontal cortex that has a sense of like, this is me. That is crazy. That is crazy miraculous. That in and of itself, what makes you physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, that is beyond anything that we find in nature. It's beyond anything that we find in technology and anything that we've been able to create with think of the height of human creation. What's the best we've done? What's the best that we've managed? It pales in comparison to the complexities and the miraculous nature of you. Literally, just you. Just your human body, just your fingernails have more depth and more interconnectedness at a cellular level than a Lamborghini, than a super amazing sports car or a crazy cool work of art. Yeah, there's some depth to it, but not the depth that's in one strand of your DNA. It's just really an incredible thing to think about how miraculous we are as human beings in our construction, right? And then think about this. I believe this. Not everybody believes this, but and it's okay if you don't. But if you take all of that complexity, all of that interconnectedness, all of that miraculous construction, and you drop it in the middle of it, animate all of it with an identity, a sense of self, and beneath all of that, a slice of eternity in the human soul. There's a part of you that is eternal. There's a part of you, I believe, that transcends the physical, that goes even beyond your physical body. But it has an intimate connection with your emotions, with your body, with your mind, with your identity, with your sense of self. It's intimately connected to all of that, right? That's crazy. That's crazy cool. That is an amazing thing. And that's you. Every one of us. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what orientation you are. It doesn't matter what you've been told. That is a miraculous thing that goes into the construction of you. See, here's one of the things that just blows my mind. It's one of the worst things about humanity. It's one of the hardest things that we have to overcome and has some of the worst implications. So there's so many of us. There's so many of us that we've come to believe that there's something common about us. Like that because there's billions of us, that each one of us, it's like we've lost we've lost the appreciation for just how complex and how beautiful we are at a level, like at a mental level, especially on a personal level with ourselves. We look at the rest of the world and find our place in it and say, I don't know where I belong. I don't know that I have value, which is crazy because of the miraculous nature of us. But part of it is because there's so many of us and that we all collectively kind of drop into that. But there's some really cool stuff if you think about it. There are levels of us that still get it, right? Like think about what would happen if you left your house today and you saw a kid wandering into traffic, right? Think about what you would do. For most of us are going to do anything we can to make sure that kid is safe. Or if we see somebody fall into a river, we're jumping in, right? We're taking care, we're valuing those people, and we don't know why. The kid could be a jerk. That kid could be a mess. That person wandering into traffic, the person that just had that accident, they might not be what we would call a good person. It doesn't matter. There's implicit value in all of us, right? So here's what's part of the problem. Here's where this breaks down and why this hasn't been working so well for us as a species. Our brains are wired to collect information about our value. It's the biggest question that we've got. Who are we? What are we worth? Are we worth loving? And so we're constantly assessing the way that we're treated in our experiences to try to answer that question. We're always looking for like some confirmation, yes, you're valuable, or confirmation that no, your fears are right and you're not. We're always looking for it, but we're looking to each other for it. And half of us, most of us, don't have an appropriate appreciation of what we're really worth. So what ends up happening is a metaphor I use in my office a lot. I call it the coin metaphor, right? Imagine that you are a coin and you're two-dimensional and you're laying on a city street and you don't know what coin you are. Are you a penny? Are you a quarter? Are you a $50? Are you a $10 million coin, right? And all you can see is the way that people keep walking by you and not stopping to pick you up. How long do you experience that before you come to the conclusion that you must be a penny and you must not have any value? Because look, people walk right past me. And so our brains take this in, our personalities or our identities begin to identify with the way that we're treated. We look to the world as sort of mirrors that are supposed to reflect back to us whether or not we have any value. But that's the thing. There's so many of us and we're all on that same journey. We're all struggling with that same thing, most of us. So we often miss out on being able to help someone see their value because we don't know about our own. And often we struggle, when we don't know about our own value, we struggle to value others, right? So here's the truth, though. The truth is that what we were talking about earlier, you are a miraculous piece of work. You are a collection of miracles animating miracles. I believe that completely about you. You are a collection of miracles animating miracles. That's a really cool thing. You're not a penny. A better metaphor of what the truth is would be like if you're like $1 trillion bill, right? Let's say you have more value than any amount of currency that we currently have in the world, right? And just for the sake of metaphor, imagine that you're flying in a plane and you're flying to another country to completely revolutionize their economy. You're going to change the world. You have so much value, you're going to change the world. But by some stroke of bad luck, you flutter out of the plane and you drop down to an unreached people group in the jungle, right? An unreached people group that has no sense of value of currency. And you fall down and you flutter down into their village and somebody picks you up and they look at you and they don't know. They don't know what you're worth. So they use you they crumple you up and stuff you at the bottom of their shoe to keep their toes warm. They plug you up into the hole of their hut to keep the wind out. How long before you look at that and say, I must be trash? The problem is not what you're actually worth. The problem is the understanding of the value that is going on in the people that are around you and how they're treating you. Now that doesn't mean that you deserve the world and that you should be treated like you're some sort of god or goddess. It just means that you do have a value that the people around you may not realize. So what that ends up looking like is the truth is in many ways we are that unreached people group. We are that group of people that devalue people based on their race. We look down on people and we say they're not worth as much if they don't earn as much. If they have an orientation that we don't like. If they are a part of a political party that believes things that we don't believe, we devalue them and we reduce them to something worthless. We wad them up and we try to use them to light fires in our huts. We don't know the value because there's so many of us and we've become common that we've lost sight of what we're actually worth. You might be struggling with that. Hear it from me. It's not true. It's not accurate. You're not worthless because you've been treated like you're worthless. You have immeasurable worth. You have far more worth than you even realize. You're worth more than you know and more than they know. And that's true whether they see it or not. If you've been treated as if you don't have value, that is a reflection of those treating you. That is a reflection of what they know and how developed they are and how evolved they are as humans. Not a reflection of your actual worth. It's not accurate. It's just not true. Now, again, these are just words, and they're really tough. It's really tough for words like this to offset a lifetime of experiences. But please hear me. There's truth in what I'm saying in a way that the truth might not be reflected in the way that you've been treated. So, what I want to do, and what Deep Space is about, and what I try to do in my office, when I'm trying to help my kids, how I'm trying to raise my kids. I'm trying to raise my kids, and I'm trying even within myself to be a person who's aware of the value that we all possess, and to treat people accordingly, to treat people as these complex miracles on miracles of miracles that they actually are, right? I think when we do that, it changes everything. It changes the way that we handle anthem protesters. It changes the way that we handle people who cannot get over that there's protesters at anthem of the anthems, right? Whatever side you fall on that, when we devalue the opposite side, we treat them in a way that probably isn't a reflection of their true worth, right? I'm trying to teach my kids, I'm trying to raise my kids, and I'm trying to be the kind of person who treats people the way that they deserve to be treated based on their actual, implicit, real value. I don't want to be an unreached person who just looks at a person and says, yeah, but there's so many of them. What could this person be worth? Their body doesn't measure up to conformity standards, right? They don't look like what I've been told they're supposed to look like. Or maybe they have disabilities, so, I mean, are they worth as much? Absolutely. There's miracles on miracles in every human body and every one of us, regardless of how much we meet whatever standards in the world. Believe that. It's the truth. I believe that about you. Let me just say to the people out there who are watching this, who continually remind me of my value, thank you. Thank you for continually treating me as if I matter. You have changed my life completely. My life is dedicated to repaying you for that and helping you to know that you have that value to me. I love you. Thank you so much for treating me the way that you have. And I will do everything I can to raise kids and to be the kind of person who can treat myself as if that value is real and as if that is true, and can raise my kids to treat other people that way as well. Because I believe that it's the truth. It's a better way to live. And you're not going to end up in my office with all kinds of gnarly tentacles of symptoms of the nastiness of believing the alternative, because it's not true. It's just not accurate. So I hope that those words can break through a little bit, that there can be some truth in that you can feel that, and that can make a difference for you. I believe it. Come on back to Deep Space. We're going to keep making videos about things pretty much exactly like that. So hit subscribe. Feel free to share this with anybody. Leave me any comments that you want. I'm in those comments, so let's talk about it. If there are ways that you're struggling with this, if there are things that you see that make that difficult to believe that you have value, and if you don't believe it, if you think that there's an alternative way of seeing this, I'd love to talk with you about that. Let me know in the comments. And I will be looking for you next time. Hey, and also too, just quick announcement. I think we're going to be doing we're going to have some new content that's going to be coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. I'll probably do a video maybe later in the week that will talk about new stuff. So another way of just getting more of this stuff. So that should be cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for doing this with me. Thanks for joining me here at Deep Space. Keep treating people the way that they actually deserve to be treated, which is as a valuable, miraculous human. You are one of them. I know it. I hope you know it too. Treat yourself that way, and treat the people around you as if they have that value, because they do, and you do too. I love you. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.